If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Welcome to episode 428 of the Find Your Food Voice podcast. Today, we're talking all about how to enjoy eating again when you've been diagnosed with diabetes and PCOS with special guest, Erin Phillips. Let's get to it. Hey there, I'm Julie Duffy Dillon, registered dietitian and your host. Welcome to this episode. This episode is devoted to those of you who have been diagnosed with diabetes or prediabetes, and you feel like you were stuck in a corner with no way out, unsure on your next steps. What I know to be true is that when you have been newly diagnosed with any chronic condition that is associated with any kind of eating change can be really hard. It also can be really scary because of all the fear. You know, the things that I think about in particular with diabetes that I remember learning when I was a new clinician is all these bad things that can happen. And that fear can really promote these drastic changes. What unfortunately I also know to be true from research and also my experience as a clinician is when we make decisions based just on that fear, they don't usually stick. They don't last very long. And one of the reasons is because it's just too drastic. So for those of you who are struggling with a diabetes diagnosis and wondering how to move forward, again, this episode is created for you. We have a letter from a listener who wrote their letter to food all about what to do. And in particular, this letter writer is in recovery from an eating disorder, also has PCOS, and just wants to experience life and enjoying food, but doesn't know how to do it. So I invited on a special guest. Her name is Erin Phillips. She's a registered dietitian as well and specializes in helping people with diabetes to be able to just make it work for them without another rigid diet. Her expertise is so valuable. So I invite you to just get yourself cozy and get ready to really appreciate some next new steps along the way. Before we get to this episode's letter, a few announcements just to remind you that if you are interested in this topic and you want to dig in deeper, I invite you to join me over on Substack, where I spend a lot of time in the nuance of different types of experiences living with PCOS, including diabetes and PCOS. In particular, I have been specialized in helping people with PCOS to manage the symptoms, to increase energy levels, all without another stupid, rigid diet that doesn't work. And I love every month to take a topic related to PCOS and do a very deep dive into the research and also share with you the practice-based evidence that I have helping people for the last 25 plus years. So get to all of this over on Substack, like I said, at findyourfoodvoice.substack.com. And there you get a chance to also support me and my team as a paid subscriber. Paid subscribers get access to those deep dives every month. And also, I hope you know, this is how me and my team are able to make a living. And we love the work we're doing, and we would like to continue to do the work. So becoming a paid subscriber, if you're able to, is super appreciated. Along the way, if you have a complicated relationship with food and you need more support, I wrote a book for you. It's called Find Your Food Voice, and you can get it wherever books are sold or at julieduffydillon.com/book. All right, enough of all the announcements. Let's get to this episode's letter. Dear Food, We've had a really rocky relationship. I've avoided you like the plague since I was 9, and I only indulged when I felt faint, but ended up eating everything in the pantry. Then, after college, I was surprised to learn that you were not the problem. I'm sorry I ran away for so many years. I was/am fat, and the world told me you were the problem. So things have been good lately, but now I have diabetes. Between the diabetes, PCOS, and being visibly fat, I feel overwhelmed. My previous eating disorder recovery work feels worthless. I don't know how to engage with you and not hate you like before. I want to continue healing us. How do I eat intuitively, be fat positive, and manage my diabetes without succumbing to diet culture? Let's be friends again. Scared and confused. All right, that's this episode's letter. Before we get to unpack this letter, I want to introduce you to Erin's work. Erin uses she, her pronouns and is a registered dietitian and diabetes care and education specialist who works with people all over the world from her little office in Seattle, Washington. Her mission is to support people with diabetes and the people who love them to live a long and happy life with diabetes without food restrictions, diets, or shame. She's also an avid cat lover, wannabe dog parent, and obsessed with anything resembling arts and crafts. All right, I need to introduce her to Doug at some point, don't I? But we are going to get a chance to hear from Erin Phillips in just a minute. We're going to take a very quick sponsor break. But when I'm back, we are going to be chatting with Erin Phillips and unpacking this episode's letter. Hey, Erin, welcome to the show.
Hi, Julie. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, thank you. And when you dropped your new diabetes workbook, I don't know, it's probably been like 16 years ago now because it was so long ago. Oh, no, it hasn't been that long, listener. But I knew I wanted to talk to you on the show. And I hope you got the letter. Did you get a chance to read it?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. So I'm excited to dive in because, yeah, you're someone that I have admired and learned a lot from about diabetes. And when you read through this letter, I like to think about the big picture first and foremost. Like, what do you think is happening? What's going on with this person?
Yeah. As I was reading this letter, I just had this image of someone, of the letter writer, like finally grabbing on to like peace with food and then having it like ripped away and then also having their hand slapped. And like,
wow.
Yeah, that image just like hit me like a ton of bricks and just, yeah, it also sounded like so many of my clients, so many of the people that I've worked with have had really, really similar experiences.
Yeah.
And yeah, it breaks my heart because it doesn't have to be that way.
The way when I was reading it, the way that I was kind of experiencing it was this kind of like bounce back and forth. Like they described not really getting enough or like just not feeling like they ever had permission until they were so hungry, right? Like they were just eventually they had to eat because that's what human bodies do. And the slap, is that when the person got slapped in your kind of metaphorical experience? Was it when they got diagnosed with diabetes, or is that what you're picturing?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
I've been doing a lot of learning about attachment theory and how attachment trauma shows up in our experiences and in our bodies. And one of the more serious attachment wounds is not only when the attachment figure is like turned away or ripped away, but also that the person is told they're wrong for wanting or needing that attachment figure. And food is an attachment figure. Like we absolutely, and so is culture, and so diet culture can be. And so, yeah, being diagnosed with diabetes in our culture unfortunately sends a message to people that their relationship with food is wrong and that they need to completely like change their relationship with food. And so that kind of is what that slap is felt like for me.
Well, and before we push record, I told you that I used to be a diabetes educator too.
Yeah.
And one thing I remember, like when I was studying for the exam and all that, like learning how much of getting diabetes was still mostly genetic. Like there was like so much of it is just like a family, like it's passed down. And so when I hear like what you're talking about, I'm like, why are people blamed so much for diabetes when we do have this information?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is that a rhetorical question? Or
maybe? I guess I want to know your opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is like, I mean, it's a big one. It's a big problem, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a huge problem. Huge problem. Our culture just really sucks about it. I think fat phobia and like fear of illness are two things that really drive it. Fat phobia, because our culture just loves and really drives toward this body hierarchy. And so anything that brings our bodies up and other bodies down, we just get really sucked into that. And so putting fatness and diabetes in this category together, people can other themselves. And along with that, other themselves, other others.
Yeah.
Redundant.
I'm following you. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the fear of illness or fear of disease, which is related to our fear of death, which is wild because that's like one of the only things we all do. We all die.
Yeah. Die and pay taxes. That's what my sixth grade teacher always used to say.
Right. Yeah.
Unless you're a billionaire, I guess, but whatever.
Yeah.
She didn't tell me that.
You have enough money to just not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then diabetes, this like illness and death gets pushed. Like, well, if I can believe that there's something I can do to prevent this by being, air quotes, good enough, then I can separate myself from illness, from death, from the fear of these things. And so I think that's a big part of what perpetuates this blaming people for this genetic condition.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I appreciate that getting the diabetes diagnosis or having that fear of that diagnosis. There's so much, I think, that people associate with it. Yeah. And I would imagine leads to that fear, like, oh, I'm going to go blind, or I'm going to have to get an amputation. And I don't know, I think the way that I've experienced a lot of times, I'm kind of laughing because I'm like, hey, if you have healthcare and you're able to see a doctor, you're going to be already avoiding a lot of that, everyone having access to a doctor is probably going to be more important than all of us spinning our wheels. I don't know what you think about that, or if I'm onto something or not.
I could not agree more. I always tell my clients that if the number one thing that you can do to prevent these complications is have access to medical care, to healthcare. And like, what a time for us to be talking about that. Right. Like, and that's much more complicated than it's always been complicated, much more complicated than it has ever been. And if you do have access to healthcare, you're at very, very low risk of all of those scary, really scary diabetes complications.
Yeah. 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 The access to healthcare. I'm in the state of North Carolina, and we, everyone in the state assembly is like fighting over how they're going to fund Medicaid, so much so that they're just not going to, basically.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's not a good time in North Carolina for many reasons, and that just happens to be one of them. I hope your state is better.
A little.
Good.
A lot. Yeah.
I'm sure it's a lot. But something else I want to mention too is, I don't specialize in diabetes per se anymore, but really helping a lot of people with PCOS. And what I noticed for people with PCOS, like getting the diagnosis of PCOS is something that is associated with them for a lot of people to be like when dieting really was at rock bottom, like, and they were just told that they caused it, they did it, that they have to cut out carbs and sugar, they don't need to. And by the time I would work with folks, they had reached that rock bottom and started to recover, probably like this letter writer. But then when they are given a diabetes diagnosis or even the prediabetes diagnosis, a lot of times it makes all the dieting stuff come back.
Totally.
And I wonder if that's part of what this person's experiencing is like another diagnosis just to like punch them to keep them down.
Yeah. I know they said my previous eating disorder recovery work feels worthless. Like,
which I wish I knew more about the eating disorder recovery work. I'm like, I don't know if they were just trying to stay concise in the letter, but I was like, what? You're in recovery? Like that was like totally minimized. That's a really big deal.
Yeah. I had to go back as I was thinking about it and like, making notes for myself. I was like, something about eating disorder recovery in my notes. And I was like, wait, did they say that? And then I had to go back a couple times and they did.
Yeah. So what do you wish, like when people got diagnosed with diabetes, is there something that you wish everyone was told instead of like what they're told now? If you had like 2 or 3 things that you wish like every healthcare provider would tell someone with a diabetes diagnosis, what do you think of?
Ooh, well, first and foremost, that it is not your fault. Like, this is not your fault. You did not do anything to cause this. You did not choose this. And this is not, this just came in my brain.
Love it.
This is also not something you can reverse. Like, those things can be true at the same time. Like, you did not cause this, and it's not a car that you can just put in reverse and drive the other direction.
Yeah.
And so along with that, radical acceptance is so helpful in this context. And knowing that it's not your fault helps so much with that radical acceptance.
I think that's important. It's so important. And I can appreciate how that may feel like a buzzkill in a way of like, I can't cure it. Because I think we're led to believe that as individuals, we can like harness all these powers to prevent death and disability. And when it comes to it, any chronic condition, right? Like it's going to eventually get worse, even if we're perfect, whatever that is.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, it's going to continue to get worse. And so let's say for like this letter writer or someone who is like has an eating disorder history and has a history of like recovering from that, and they get a diagnosis with diabetes. Are there some things that you would say are your first steps that you'd recommend for them?
Yes. I'm so glad you asked.
Oh, good.
First and foremost is my recommendation would be get good people in your corner.
Okay.
And that means loved ones, like having a lot of people when they're diagnosed with diabetes don't tell anyone. Like the person that diagnosed them is the only one that knows and they don't tell anyone else. And like that's so understandable given our cultural messaging around diabetes that we were just talking about. And it makes that, like, imagine being diagnosed with cancer and not telling anyone. And now you're having to go through all of this and you're not telling anyone. It's so isolating. And I'm not comparing diabetes and cancer, but just saying getting this diagnosis that is changing like what's going on with you, right? So telling at least one loved one, and then get if you can, get a healthcare professional, like a primary care provider that you don't hate. Like if
who sees you probably, like, right? To actually like sees you. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then if possible, get a therapist and a dietitian.
Yes. Yeah. Get all those people lined up. You know, I love like bringing this up because we all know, I mean, if we've read anything from Brene Brown or anyone who's talking about shame, like shame loves isolation, right? So I think that's a great reminder. Like make sure you like fill someone in. on what's going on.
Yeah.
And you don't have to hide from it. And there's so much stigma, I think, because of the things we were talking about, that it makes sense why someone would want to do that. But there's so many people out there who are experiencing this too. I know, like in my family, all the Duffys get diabetes by the time they hit 60. It's kind of like something like that happens to all of them. And 3 out of my 4 grandparents lived to be almost 100. So
holy cow!
I know.
I'm
the
not
other
just
one
saying
was
that because of the diabetes piece, but just in general.
I know.
That's a long life.
Well, and the one who was like the first to pass away, he was 85. It was like, So I like to share that because, you know, there's something with like diabetes that like you can live, like it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an early death. And like we were saying, it's something that having access to medical care is so important. And that's where I think too, like having access to a medical provider who sees you, so then you feel safe to go to the medical provider when you need help or just a checkup, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe some providers are listening and they can, you know, maybe be a little bit more, I don't know, less shamey.
Yeah, non-judgmental, open, like curious.
Just like instead of assuming, just be like, well, so how's your eating? You know?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I don't know how many clients I've heard say things like, when I was diagnosed, my doctor essentially asked me, like, have you ever even seen a vegetable?
Oh gosh.
They're like, that's not what, what, like, it makes you speechless.
Yeah, the assumptions are pretty wild. But they happen all the time, for sure.
All the time.
Yes. So with that being said, I want to know more about what you have going on in your area. What kind of things are you working on?
I published a digital workbook called Diabetes Liberated. It's an anti-diet digital workbook to help you thrive with type 2 diabetes.
Love it.
And I was so excited to publish this. I mean self-pub, like it's a PDF, but very accessible. And so I published that in the spring. I was really excited about that. And when we were talking about, like getting people in your corner, it made me think of some of the free resources that I have. One of them is about how, essentially all the research about how I know that you didn't cause your diabetes.
Oh, wonderful.
Put in like it can get as science nerdy as you want, or it can, you can stay kind of a little more like, okay, just give me the facts. And then I also have a podcast where we interview people with diabetes. So I've heard from a lot of people that that's really helpful, especially at the beginning of a new diagnosis, of hearing other people just like, okay, people are okay. You can have diabetes and also be like, you can be good.
Hearing stories is powerful, especially if you don't have a lot of people you can probably tell about this experience. I love it. Well, I'll put everything in the show notes so you can see it in the show notes or down below. And listener, I don't know if you know this, but like Erin is the person that all of us dietitians who are non-diet reach to when we are needing help with education on diabetes and diabetes medication. So check out our resources. They're really good. So
thank you, Julie. That means so much.
Oh, I mean, it's totally true. Like, you're the name that always comes up when we're like, oh, what would Erin think?
Oh, I love it.
So if people want to know more about you, is there like a website or social media that you use?
Yeah, I am. Let's see. My website is erinphillipsnutrition.com.
Okay.
And then that's ERIN and then Phillips with 2 L's. And then I am not on social media that much anymore. You can see on my previous Instagram is still up there, which is Erin Phillips Nutrition, where you can see all the resources that I have. And then I do have a Facebook group. It's a free group for people with diabetes if people want to join. And you can find all of that stuff on my website.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for stopping by and helping me answer this letter.
Yeah. Thank you, Julie.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Erin Phillips, and I want to let you know that food has written back to this letter writer. But before we get to it, I want to encourage you to stay in touch. Let's continue this conversation over on Substack, findyourfoodvoice.substack.com. And if you want to join me there, you can subscribe. And again, for paid subscribers, I do a monthly deep dive devoted to a special nuanced topic related to PCOS. I have deep dives on GLP-1s and PCOS. I also have what labs to get checked every year because you need more than an A1C. I also have 2 on perimenopause and menopause and PCOS, like what to expect and also ways to intervene. This year, I also have a whole slate of new topics every month that I'll be delivering to you. And I would love to connect with you there. Again, it's findyourfoodvoice.substack.com. Lastly, I invite you to subscribe to the show. I will be back in 2 weeks with my team. Rachel and Colleen and I have an announcement to share with you. And so you don't want to miss this episode. All right. I have Foods Letter back, and I want to say thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you have a bazillion podcasts to choose from. So thank you for choosing ours. Dear Scared and Confused, we've had a rocky relationship, and we are grateful you have focused on helping repair our connection. You deserve to eat enough and enjoy your food, no matter your size or healthcare diagnosis. We know your PCOS and diabetes diagnoses shook that belief, but remember, you didn't cause your health concerns, and you can't reverse them. You can learn tools to help you feel more energized and supported. But consider telling a few friends or family members and surround yourself with a team that will root for you no matter what. You will need those reminders that food is not your enemy and you deserve to eat no matter what. Keep repairing and reminding yourself you are worthy of pleasure, satisfaction, and kindness. Love, food. Thank you for listening to Find Your Food Voice. This is a podcast that was created, written, produced, and edited by me, Julie Duffy Dillon. Rachel Popick helps me behind the scenes to be able to get this episode to your ears, and so does Colleen Bremner. She's someone that helps us juggle all the things to make sure that we can make it happen. So thank you, Colleen and Rachel, for all you do to make this podcast be able to come to everyone's ears. Be sure to hit subscribe so you can make sure that you don't miss an episode, and also join us over on Substack. There you can support our team. We are a small and mighty team, and we love what we're doing. If you are able to financially support us by becoming a paid subscriber, it helps us to continue to do what we're doing. All right, that's enough for this episode. We look forward to being in your ears in 2 weeks. Until then, take care.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.